Meanwhile, well, we've mentioned the words abolish. It's unbelievable. We're going to do this story tomorrow. But apparently, the Border Patrol has a problem. And this is not, I mean, is anybody surprised about this?
No.
The Border Patrol, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but the Border Patrol has a problem. There are internal groups of people within the Border Patrol who are incredible, I don't know, what would you call them? White nationalists, neo-Nazis, scumbags, fascists. I mean, is anybody surprised? I mean, if anything, the surprise would be like that there's like those in that patrol based upon what they're asked to do.
Yeah, no one thinks they're woke.
Exactly. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. In the meantime, yesterday, I guess this was this today or yesterday in New Jersey? Yesterday, a Jewish group, I'm not sure what they were called. Is it If Not Now?
The protest was Jews against ICE. We'll check out if it was If Not Now.
There's basically a concentration camp in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And apparently 36 Jewish protesters were arrested in staging this protest and calling attention to this thing. Here it is.
People are dying. Which side are you on? 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 Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, my people?
So
That's a never again action.
And they're holding a sign that says "Never Again" means never again. And it really is
calling
just a question.
Chuck Todd. Very offensive comparison.
Very offensive comparison. I mean, again, we've talked about this, but the question is, at what point do you say we're going to protest this? At what point do you say, like, okay, I mean, do you wait? Now, obviously, people have died in custody. And obviously, the treatment is bad enough to have inspectors and judges recoil. So at what point do you say this is on a path? Doesn't mean it's going to get there where you're gassing people or killing people in these camps, but it's on a path that could, under certain circumstances, lead to it. What are you going to do? And so good for these folks. I don't know if we have any information on how you can join up with them. We will let you know. Meanwhile, apparently a Canadian cartoonist, I don't know if he was working for a paper or what, but political cartoon, here it is. It's an image of Donald Trump having just gotten out of his golf cart, looking down at the bodies of the two immigrants who died recently trying to cross the Rio Grande. This is a 25-year-old man and his 23-month-old daughter. He apparently brought her across the river, went to go back in to help his wife. The daughter wanted to be with him, so she came out into the water with him. It appears maybe he was trying to keep her on his back as he was going through the water, and so put her under his shirt. And whatever happened, they both drowned. And the image is horrific. But the idea of Donald Trump getting out of his golf cart and saying, "Do you mind if I play through to them?" I think captures exactly the sentiment he has through this. If anything, you could say it is too sympathetic to Trump that he's asking. Even if he's doing it just paying lip service, because I don't even think he paid lip service to this. So the cartoonist Michael DeAdder was let go from all the newspapers in New Brunswick, Canada, by his distributor or publishing company. And
He went on a long sort of tweet thread about it. I think maybe the nub is here.
he says, in the past 2 weeks, I drew 3 Trump cartoons. 2 went viral. The third went supernova. A day later, I was let go. And not only let go, the cartoons they had already had in the can were not used. Overnight, it was like I never worked for the paper. Make your own conclusions. With this said, I've been giving the NB newspapers what they wanted for several months. Trump wasn't on my radar. I work for Canadian newspapers, so there's no need to cover Trump 24/7. Canadian politics is quite interesting right now. The premier of New Brunswick, Blaine Higgs, is a former Irving oil executive, and any cartoon I drew was slightly critical of, was systematically axed. You know why I was let go? I wanted to do my job as an editorial cartoonist, and they wanted me to do their job. It's a distraction from the big picture, it says Donald Trump. It gets to the point where I didn't submit any Trump cartoons for fear that I might be fired. Does it matter if I was fired over one Donald Trump cartoon when every Donald Trump cartoon I submitted in the past year was axed? I do this reluctantly and only because I'm cornered. I don't know how it happened, but I feel my credibility is on the line. All I did was lose my job, but I will defend myself and I will talk about why I think it was let go. It was my perspective, and clearly they have their perspective. Misspelled there. I could write a thesis on my experience at the newspaper that would be captivating, but you know what? I'm not going to. They gave me 17 years of employment and a job when the Daily News folded, and what would that say about me? Anyways, he's going on this rant. I mean, obviously, look, this cartoon, it captures a real dynamic.
Eloquent in its simplicity.
I don't know if the guy has a GoFundMe thing or he's going to set up some type of Patreon or something like that. I hope he realizes that he can do this type of thing. I should also say the nib is being let go from First Look Media. And you can Google that and support the nib, which also does some really great cartooning, political cartooning.
In fact, when they published this cartoon, they paid DeAdder for it.
Oh, they did?
Yep.
So check out the nib as well. They could use your support. All right, we don't have too much time. We'll get to some of the other stuff tomorrow. We just got time for, it's 2:48. All right, one phone call.